And welcome back to Let's Play Disgaea, Hour of Darkness. I made a few changes since last time. First things first, you probably noticed Laharl is level 28. That's because when I was training up one of my characters, I tried to have Laharl weaken one of the enemies and he accidentally got the kill. And it had been a while since I last saved, so I said, oh well, I'll just keep it. So for a little bit, Laharl is going to be on bench warming duty, so I'm not going to be deploying him for a bit. So I got Spike a few extra levels because he was falling behind, and since Laharl's not going to be doing anything, I wanted to get him up to speed, so I had a more competent overall unit. And you may notice that his weapon mastery is level 10. I took the liberty of, after building up my arms master, getting everybody's weapon level to at least 10. That way they'd get their next skill, so I have new skills to show off when we get into the next fight. The exceptions to everyone's weapon level being 10 right now is Flan, who I just didn't feel it was necessary since leveling up her staff mastery doesn't get her any new skills, it just increases her, attack power. And there's going to be a point in the game where once I have my arms master built up enough that I'll just start increasing her staff mastery. The two bigger exceptions are Etna and Helena. Now for Etna and Helena, I got their mastery up to level 12 because they're by far my weakest units at the moment, or at least in terms of raw attacking power, they were having the most trouble, so I got them up to weapon level 12. You may also notice that Etna has a Kung Fu Spear there. That is a byproduct of a guy I made and said was going to have his day eventually, Nabbit. Now you may notice Nabbit has a different color palette. That's because I transmigrated him to improve his stats. I transmigrated him to the 3rd tier of the Thief class, and I leveled him up a bit, and there's a very particular reason to that. There's actually stuff I want to steal in this part. And that Kung Fu Spear, I actually stole it in the item world. And it's pretty good. It was a bit stronger than what Etna had at the moment. Right now it's like 130. The last thing I had on her was 106. And with her new weapon mastery, that's helping her out quite a bit. But enough rambling on. I'll speak about all that stuff when I actually get into the next map, which is Raging Earth. Okay, so no cutscene this time, so I can just keep talking. This actually gives me time to speak about a mechanic that I actually haven't had a chance to talk about yet. It is rarity of weapons. Now you may have noticed that whenever I have an item, there's a little number right underneath the name that says rarity. Now rarity factors into just two things pretty much. It factors in to whether or not a weapon is rare or legendary. Now take a look at Etna's Kung Fu Spear. It's flashing silver. That means it's a rare item. Its rarity has fallen between, I believe it's 11 and 30, but I might be off on that. Look it up if I'm wrong. I'll probably look it up later myself. But when her rarity falls between that, it's a rare item and the item gets boosted stats. When an item is between from 10 to 0, it is a legendary item, which gets even better boosted stats. Now, the other thing about an item's status is whether it's rare or legendary, means how far you can go into its item world. The common items that we can buy at the store, you can only get them up to the 30th floor of the item world. Sorry, I was blanking there for a second. Rare items can go 60 floors, and legendary items can go 100 floors. And the farther you can go into an item, obviously, the stronger it gets. So not only do those items have even better stats, they also have more stat potential. The other thing that rarity affects, and this is very minor and will only come into play at the very end of the game, is that rarity affects if you have items of the same rarity, like say I had a weapon that had a rarity of 3 and a piece of armor that had a rarity of 3, both weapons would get boosted stats, and you can stack that up to 4 times for each equipment slot, so every piece of equipment has the same rarity, and you can get 40% boosted stats on all your stuff, so that's pretty nice. Now, I was kind of rambling there, so I was just setting some stuff up and then realized I was doing something wrong. Anyways, this map is really annoying. Sorry I rambled on for so long, but I really wanted to get that out of the way. We start out on a damage 20% panel and a silence panel, so I can't use my dark cannon strategy in order to get rid of the geo effects, right now anyway. And this green area has no entry and no lifting. So we need to get someone over to that no entry panel to destroy it, and then I can toss someone else to get through the silence and damage effects. Well, I said I was going to bench Laharl, but since he's my best bet to destroy this really quickly, I'm just going to have him go out and take care of it. And I'll have Laharl pull back when the actual fighting starts. He should be able to destroy this, I would hope. Ah, man. I'm gonna have to throw out someone else. A few of my characters have item worlded equipment, just because when I was going through the item worlds, a few of the arms masters I got were on the item worlded stuff. So they're going to be doing a bit stronger. Etna has an item worlded item. Fu also has an item worlded axe. As you can see, she's pretty powerful. I also got one for Helena, because she also really needed it. The reason I'm using my thieves is that I want to get these characters up to... Well, actually, you know what? It's best to just cut my losses and let Laharl destroy the thing on the next turn. It's only 20% damage. I can easily heal that, and Laharl's not going to be fighting anyway. I'm doing this map pretty poorly just because I wanted to explain so much stuff right off the get-go. I apologize for that. I'll do the next map better, I hope. Now, for that thing I mentioned about items having matching rarities, that is something you do not want to worry about, like, at all at this point in the game. It is way, way early to be even considering that. I just wanted to get it out of the way so I didn't have to explain it at a more awkward time. Okay, get Guts over here. Where can I place this Dark Cannon that'll be able to hit this panel and then hit all the other stuff? Maybe right here. If not, we'll see. Okay, got that. Hopefully I can get over to this really quickly. There we go. That poor zombie got caught in the crossfire for a little bit, but that's not a big deal. I was looking up what counts as ally kills, and the Dark Cannon nailing your allies doesn't count, so you don't have to worry if it's targeting them at the end of the turn. It doesn't do too much damage anyways, it only fires like 5 or 6 shots. So it's not a huge deal. Now, the green area is also covered in a no lifting effect. No lifting actually functions differently in this game than it does in other games in the series. In this game, no lifting means that characters standing on it cannot be lifted. However, they can lift other characters. And this can be useful in the item world, where that's actually something that you want to do, where you want to lift your characters. And when they're standing on the no lifting panel, you don't have to worry about any sort of lifting restriction. But in all future games, characters standing on no lifting panels cannot lift and cannot be lifted. Oh, poor Guts. I really need to upgrade Guts' equipment. He's getting annihilated. Or not really his equipment, just his armor. His armor's really awful. I noticed in the last video that the music was kind of loud, so I turned it down. I had turned the BGM up to max because I had trouble hearing it, but it's not a big deal that I hear it, so I turned it back down. I'll probably turn the voices up too. Oh, also, Flan learned Giga Wind and Giga Ice. Not Giga Fire yet, though. I planned on having her learn it from Lucille, but Lucille does not learn it at the same level that a dedicated mage would learn it at. As you can see, Giga Ice is pretty expensive. For that line effect, it costs 75 SP. Didn't even kill. Well, let's have Etna try out her new spear. I want Etna to get some experience anyways, because she's really behind. And I should be able to hit this guy. Oh, no. Helena also learned her new attack, Sturmhimmel. Hits a horizontal line 2 spaces in front of her, and it can actually paralyze the enemies, which is a pretty useful status effect. It prevents them from moving, so if you hit them at a distance, a lot of them actually won't be able to move up and hit you, or won't be able to take advantage of like their full area of effect attacks. Okay. And I guess I'll have Lucille fielded, even though she can't really do much in this fight. I probably should have had her Braveheart Helena, but oh well. Past is past. Alright, let's end the turn and have the zombies come towards us. Honestly, this map isn't too difficult. As you can see, these are all just basic tier zombies that are very weak. If this had like more enemies, this would probably be an annoying thing, but really the only difficulty is figuring out how to get past the geo effect. This is more of a puzzle stage than anything. Well, now that we got the chance, let's show off Sturmhimmel. Probably going to be the only time I get to use the skill in this map because it is very expensive. The new skills get really, really expensive. It's more of like a multiplying thing rather than just a linear increase, so like, usually the next level of a skill is like twice as expensive as the one after it, and I managed to paralyze those guys. I don't know if there's anything you can do to boost like the rate at which your effects actually connect, but it's not a big deal. Let's show off Spike's new skill, King of Beasts. A pretty cool looking one, and it does really good damage. It moves the enemies 2 spaces back, so it's kind of like an upgrade to Triple Strike. Let's check out Fu's newest one, Violent Storm. Now this one is an axe skill with a area of effect kind of thing, or rather designated area for it. She needs a space in front of the enemy to use it. Since I still got this thief out here, let's just toss this guy over here and have her give that a shot. This one's honestly actually a pretty noticeable damage increase from Colossal Fissure. I remember actually really liking that in my last playthrough. Let's have Flan take out these guys. If I can arrange it, I want to get Edna up to that next zombie that's over off there and have her hit it with her new skill. There we go. But I don't know if I'll be able to get it to connect. Nope. Okay, so Avalanche is basically Super Impaler, but you need 4 spaces behind you available in order to use it. And it actually has a somewhat unique way to be used in that way. By using it, you can single out an enemy and hit it with a powerful attack and then back away 4 spaces. And while that won't protect you from the enemy if you weren't able to kill it, it will protect you from the enemy's friends in a lot of situations. So it actually has a pretty unique use in that way. One of the few spear skills where I don't really mind the fact that it moves your position. As you can see, it does pretty good damage. It's not a huge deal I'm benching Laharl for a little bit, because the rest of my characters are doing pretty well in terms of damage. So if I remember right, the next chapter is the boss chapter. Could be wrong, though. Ooh, I got a prize. Holy Orb and Frog Sweat. Let's, pass down the orbs through the chain of command. I removed Helena's orb and gave her a Mega Power Bell to bring up her damage. I guess I'll give the King Orb to Spike. The reason I have that on Spike is because his natural SP is pretty low, so it's hard to use King of Beasts, or Lion's Roar without it, rather. Alright, let's do the next map. Crimson Plains. I like how Laharl kind of echoes what's probably the player's sentiments in this area. Zombies, not particularly challenging, just kind of bothersome. Anyways, this map has a somewhat unique way to go about it. Your base panel is covered in attack plus 50% and defense plus 50%, and the places where the enemies can stand do the opposite. So just have your best physical fighters hole up on these panels and let the enemies make the first move. And I'll have Helena defend on here. Now, the zombie enemies in this chapter really love using Zombie Twister, and it's pretty obnoxious, honestly, because it's got a decently long animation, and it's likely to hit quite a few of your party members. It's not a huge deal, just really annoying. And as you can see, Fu's really high attack power did quite a bit there. Let's see. Can I hit this? No, wait. I keep forgetting a lot of the bow skills have really weird area of effects that I keep forgetting how they function. Let's have, you know what? Let's have Fu trade places with Flan. Attack plus 50% does affect the power of your spells, so having a spellcaster stand on there does help them out. And I was wrong, this isn't the boss map, that's the next one. The next boss map is the main reason why I wanted to build up a thief, because that boss actually has stuff that I want to steal. And Guts can't hit from there. Guess I'll just have Helena fire off some random arrows. This will take Etna off of her boosting panel, but I can just as easily move her back in, so that's not a big deal. There we go. Things are starting to finally look up for Etna. Could use my new X skills, or my strongest ones, but they're really expensive. And let's see. I'm gonna have Guts just give this guy a quick shot. Hopefully that leaves him in a safe place. And Lucille, well, may as well use this as an opportunity to build up my shield skill. I really should use shield more often. I really like using Braveheart, but I don't use shield too much, even though it does have its uses. And I get ready to see a lot of this. It is annoying at times in this game that you can't turn off enemy animations because you get to see a lot of this. Luckily, this is something they rectified for Disgaea 2, and you can get through the game much faster if you just keep your animations on and turn off the enemies, because at that point, later in the series, the animations get ridiculously long. Disgaea 2 has slightly more extravagant animations than this game, but not quite as long as in the later series, so I still like to keep them on, because I think they're fun to watch. Alright, let's nail both these guys with a Giga Ice, rather. Oh, not enough range. Let's do a space trade. Nice thing about moving your allies into the base panel is it refreshes their movement, so you can have them move again after they get out of it. So, while I'm talking about all the random stuff I was doing off-screen, I'm really glad I actually captured that dragon, Flea, because he was proving to be quite useful in building up my item worlding party and helping out in the item world itself. Equipping him with a good monster weapon, he had really good strength, and he was proving to be quite helpful. You know, I wanted to show off how much of a difference the Arms Master makes. I'll probably have to show it off a different map because this one's almost done. Let's have Fu take out this guy. I just wish I could do those kind of damage figures consistently. Or maybe not, because then it would make the game too easy. Still, it is pretty fun to just completely decimate the opposition. Edna's doing pretty well for herself. Building up her weapon level and getting that spear for her is helping out quite a bit. Still, not really much compared to Laharl. Laharl's got a really good weapon and really high stats. You know what? This is a good time to test this. I actually did leave one of these guys alive, so let's look at Guts' weapon mastery with the gun. And he's got the Arms Master right now, and it's level 730, I believe. So let's just take a shot with his gun. As you can see, that went up a huge boost. That was like 1/5 of the bar. Now, let's have someone with an A in their weapon mastery get out here and do something. We'll just have Mina do it. Give her some screen time. So let's check out her weapon mastery. Or actually, no, I want someone with the same weapon mastery. You know what, Laharl, you're the best person to demonstrate this. Let's take a look at his weapon mastery. You know, level 10. Take an action. Oh, nah. Oh, I guess I'll show this after the fight. And Laharl gets another level up. Laharl, why are you too good? Well, okay, so Guts' bar increased by about 1/5. Let's check out Laharl's. You can't even tell the difference. It barely increased at all. So it actually takes quite a while to build up your weapon mastery if you're doing it without an arms master. So it's really helpful if you do that. And honestly, it's probably the best way to get through the game if you don't want to do like a big amount of level grinding. If you want to get through this game without like building up an arms master or level grinding, you have to use like a force of only like 4 or 5 characters, and they have to be pretty good ones too. And I wouldn't recommend using Flan, since you kind of have to do a lot of grinding to get her to be good too. But you know what, let's go for some length on this video and do the final map in this chapter, Ember of Dreams.
Kill one and another appears. Zombies, zombies, zombies. I'm getting sick and tired of this.
You better stay alert, or else you'll be sorry. Check out that zombie.
What about it?
Amateur, that is my masterpiece. The fists of a dark karate master. The legs of the fastest demon in the netherworld. The brain of Mahogany, a famous sorcerer. The iron body of Hercules. And a horse wiener! All combined into one, the netherworld's ultimate zombie.
What did you say? A horse wiener? Now, that's dangerous. Guys, don't let your guard down.
And that was one of the most famous scenes in the game, the horse wiener zombie. And let's take a look at him. He has most of the things that Aramis mentioned. And this is why I built up my thief. We're going to be stealing all of that. The brain, the body, and the horse wiener. And I actually do really want those things, because they're all really good accessories. So yeah, someone's going to be carrying around a horse dong in their inventory for the rest of the game. Well, probably not for the rest of the game, they're not that great, but they're still pretty decent. Anyways, I want to get this done quickly, so just take out this guy like this. Oh, this is a resilient zombie. Okay. Ah, the rest of the zombies or just the terrain's getting in the way. Oh well, not a big deal. Took out one of the defense panels, that's the big thing. Those are all weak to ice anyway. But yeah, that's a very famous scene from the game, just because a pretty good example of the kind of tone Disgaea goes for. In fact, it's one of the scenes that made Aramis a somewhat popular character in the series, because he just made a horse wiener zombie. He actually was a DLC character for Disgaea 3, and I believe he appears as a side character in the Prinny games. So yeah, pretty good for a character who, I'm just going to tell you right now, only appears in this chapter and only has a few lines of spoken dialogue. But yeah, that was another scene that I thought was really funny when I was younger. And you know, it's still worth a pretty good laugh now, just because he made a horse wiener zombie. How random. Did someone useless just toss this dark cannon so it's not shooting my allies? This is one thing that's really annoying about this game, is that a lot of the generic units have really awful throw ranges. You know what, just so I have him out now, I'm gonna deploy Nabbit. And once we get in range to the horse wiener zombie, we'll go over stealing. May as well get everyone out. Spike, you go here. Defend. And Etna. Laharl, you're still in detention. You're just too good. The nice thing about the Dark Cannon is when it becomes an NPC is that it takes its turn before the enemies do. so it gets in some extra damage if it's next to them before they can even do anything about it. I didn't deploy Lucille. Lucille learns all the fire spells, just while I'm thinking of it. She learns all the fire spells up to the Omega level, which is the 4th level, and spells go up to 5 levels in this game, the maximum being the Terra level.
Hi. See ya.
Etna, you're letting me down again. Oh well, I do have weaker characters than Etna who need the experience anyways, so it's not a huge deal. One thing that kinda stinks about the Scout is that it has a really low base SP pool, so its best skills tend to drain them pretty quickly. Mina, why do I have you out here? You're getting your screen time, but you're getting too much screen time. Get back in the base panel. I was hoping that the Dark Cannon would lure out the Horse Wiener zombie, but can't have everything. And yes, we're just gonna call it the Horse Wiener zombie, because how could I not? I do want the Horse Wiener zombie to aggress on me, because I don't want my characters to damage it too badly, or just like get into a situation where I kill it. You know, I did that sequence of actions backwards. I actually wanted Etna to impale her first and then have Guts get the kill. Oh well. Even though I have the Giga level of spells, I'm still going to be using like the Mega and Basic levels a decent amount of times, just because they're a lot cheaper, and sometimes I want Flan just to soften up the enemies, so that my less offensively oriented characters can get the kill. Alright, let's have Spike take point up here and defend. And have Lucille throw out a buff for them. I'll just use Braveheart. I considered using Shield, but I don't think I have that high enough level that it'll hit a line yet. There we go. He's on the move. Unfortunately, I'm still going to be seeing a lot of Zombie Twister after this chapter is over in the Let's Play, because I'm still going to be going to Scorching Wind quite a bit for when I need to get my characters, or my item wielding unit rather, leveled up. Actually, let's have Nabbit do it. The Horse Wiener zombie's still not in range to steal, so while Nabbit's not doing anything, may as well have him assist with getting these guys out of the way. Have Fu move out so she doesn't get hit with that. And voila, it's like I never moved her at all. Awesome magic trick. Nice thing about when enemies outlevel you significantly is that you get a good amount of experience from killing them, so it's easy to make up the difference.
Yeah. See ya.
Okay, defend, and let's go. Come on, Horse Wiener zombie. Gonna take everything from you, including the wiener. So I don't know if I said this exactly, but I think I might have implied that when you're defending, you're unable to counter, period, and that's not quite the case. When you defend, the amount of counters you have is decreased by 2. So Spike, while he's defending, he has such a high counter stat, he has 3, that he can still counter if he gets hit with a regular attack. Anyways, this is the one, right? Nope, the other one. I guess, yeah, I was pretty sure it was just a regular zombie who had the Horse Wiener. Okay, time to go over stealing. So to steal, you need a cha-ching hand, or any other kind of hand item, a stealing hand or a plunder hand. The cha-ching hand is the most powerful one available. It can hit from a range of 3 away, and it has a higher stealing rate than the ones below it, so that's why I took it. Now, as you can see, Nabbit has a 66% chance of stealing these items. This is determined by him being a thief, the strength of the hand he's using, and the rarity of the items, as well as the level of the enemy. Now, if this were just a regular enemy with regular items that I was trying to steal, these steal rates would be much higher because Nabbit outlevels this guy. But since he's a boss with unique items, they're much lower. But take a look at Nabbit's steal rate at 66%. Now take a look at Flea, who's my highest level character, and let's see him try to steal those items with the Cha-Ching hand. And he can't even make the attempt. It's 0%. That means he's never going to steal these. Not only does he outlevel Nabbit, he's got... Well, yeah, that's the big thing. He outlevels Nabbit, so even with that, just simply by virtue of not being a thief, his steal rates are severely hampered. And this goes up until the end of the game where, like, a level 1000 thief can steal from level 2000 enemies with 100% success, while level 3000 enemies probably couldn't even make the attempt. Or characters, rather. And also, any regular unit trying to steal something, their chance caps out at 50%, whereas Nabbit can go all the way up to 100. Also looks like stealing is slightly randomized when you go to do it, because it was 66% before. Also, a unique thing thieves can do is that they can steal enemy stats, but it's pretty negligible, so I never bother with it. Anyways, let's go for the wiener first. There we go. I am now in possession of one bona fide horse dong. Let's check out its stats. Gives you an attack bonus of 110. If Helena was still alive, I would give that to her in a heartbeat, but she is not. Alright, now let's get rid of these guys so that I can steal the rest of this guy's stuff in relative peace. You know, I haven't shown off Guts' new skill. It's called Bullet Storm, not to be confused with the video game. It's basically the same thing as Tri-Burst, has the same range, except it's non-elemental and has a higher base damage. So against stuff that aren't weak to ice, it's actually much better than Tri-Burst. But against stuff that is weak to ice, Tri-Burst still does roughly the same amount of damage and is much cheaper. So that's something you should really be looking out for before you use Bullet Storm. I'll show off the animation for it at a more opportune time. Alright, so that takes care of these enemies. I'm going to want to get Nabbit out of the way so that this zombie doesn't gun for him. Because if he gets taken out, then I can't steal these items. And this is the only chance you get to steal these things. Let's block him off. He can just zombie twister out of this, but the important thing is that he can't get the Nabbit just by moving. And I have to be really careful, because even though I've transmigrated Nabbit, I put all his bonus stats into hit to increase his damage output, so he can still get a pretty rough beating from enemies. Okay, so this is something that happens a few times in the games. You can just keep trying again until you get better success rates. And this looks fine. There we go, got Mahogany's brain. Get Nabbit out of there again. Now, in future games, your position relative to the enemy also factors in the steal rate, so if you're like trying to steal from the side or from behind, you'll have a better chance. And stealing from behind is the best, but in this game it doesn't matter. It's the same from regardless of what angle you try it from. Okay. Do I have to, like, reset the whole action to get it to change its percentage? Ugh. Leaving all these command errors. I did it again. Sorry. Okay. Try this again. Alright, I guess I'm going with 59%. Got it anyway. Alright, let's deal with this guy. Hit him with a Giga Ice. Yeah, I should have been moving Etna towards the fray so she could get in on it faster. And can't hit this guy with the King of Beasts because Nabbit is standing in the way. And Tri-Burst. Let's see what we got. If Guts had enough SP left to actually do Bullet Storm, I would have shown it off, but he does not. He didn't do good enough damage anyways. How's his Weapon Master doing? Already at 11. There is a very particular reason why I want Guts to be the one getting all the weapon mastery with the Arms Master, and I believe I mentioned this, but I guess I'll just say it again in case I didn't. You unlock a special character class when you get Gun Mastery 30, and trying to reach that without an Arms Master is a really arduous task. Alright, let's see if Spike can get the kill. Nope. But there was one thing I wanted to do before I ended this video, just show off Mahogany's Brain and Hercules' Body. Mahogany's Brain is actually a fairly unique accessory. It boosts your intelligence by a huge amount, and I think it's the only kind of item in the game that actually does that specifically that's not a staff. And Hercules' Bodies is basically just a unique variation of the muscle. It gives you a defense boost in addition to the HP. I think it's actually slightly worse than the muscle I have on Etna right now, but it boosts your other stats slightly, so that's nice. And I guess, now that we've stripped this zombie of all his body parts, take him out with an ice spell to freeze him over. And there we go. So that was a pretty good fight. We took it out relatively efficiently, and we own a horse dong now that I can give to anyone I desire.
Here, I caught them all. So quit your complaining. What? What's the problem now?
Thank you, Your Highness.
Huh. Well, it is part of my job as the Overlord. And don't bother to thank me. If you want to show your gratitude, you can repay me with your body.
I never knew you were like that.
Idiot. I meant become my vassal and serve me when you're old enough.
Yes, Your Highness.
Speak to me with respect from now on. Got it?
Yes, Your Highness.
Did you hear that, Etna? That kid called me Your Highness. So, do you accept me as Overlord now?
Well, you pass for the time being. But be careful not to flunk out.
Ugh, why you?
Talk about strict. Still, Laharl has changed quite a bit since the first time I met him. He is maturing little by little as he meets new people. And it feels like I have changed too, since meeting him and his companions. If you open your heart, you will surely grow and learn many new things. Whether you're an angel or a demon. If I can explain this to other angels, maybe they'll see that not all demons are evil. And someday...
Those seemingly innocent Prinnies! It turns out they were hiding a big secret!
It wouldn't be a secret if it wasn't hidden, dude.
When the Prinnies' evil spirits join as one, they form Pringer X, the mighty super robot!
Dude, we can't do that.
Here goes! Pringer Spiral Plasma Chop! Gotcha! Pringer Aura Triangle Kick! This is it! Pringer Spinning Drill Attack!
Dude, hello?
Next on Lovely Mad Scientist at Episode 8, Farewell Pringer X!
Dude, you're killing us all?
No worries. Pringer X will be reborn as the more powerful Pringer Z!
I'm telling you, it ain't gonna happen, dude.
So, it looks like Laharl was able to get Aramis's respect. Now, despite what he said, Aramis has actually not really appeared at all in any other Disgaea game in any meaningful way. Like I said, he was DLC in Disgaea 3, and he appears a little in the Prinny games, but otherwise, he's mostly been forgotten about. He doesn't even appear in this game's direct sequel, although that was a bit of a problem that I had with the game's direct sequel, where a lot of characters you expected to appear don't. But anyways, that's enough for this video. Sorry it went on for a little while, but I wanted to finish off the boss stage. I hope you enjoyed, And have a nice day. Until next time. See ya.